The New Orleans Saints turned from a punchline into a threat, and almost nobody outside Louisiana saw it happen. A rookie quarterback nobody crowned as a savior grabbed the job midseason and lit a fire under a starving fan base. Tyler Shuck looked like a seasoned pro the moment he walked onto the field. Now the job belongs to him alone. The front office spent an entire offseason building a fortress around their young passer, and one hometown addition erases the single flaw this offense wore for years. Remember him, because his arrival bends the whole season. Look hard at the weapons now. New Orleans handed Shuck a genuine number one in Chris Olave, then drafted a rookie 8th overall who might be the most uncoverable receiver this franchise has ever dressed. They rebuilt the interior offensive line, signed a proven guard in David Edwards, and gave 2 young tackles real support. On defense, one move on draft weekend landed a former top 10 pick nobody expected New Orleans to chase, and it reshapes the entire pass rush. The reason it changes everything stays sealed for now. Now flip to the other side of the ball. Brandon Staley runs a scheme built to confuse quarterbacks, and a young secondary holds the keys to the whole thing. One position battle decides whether this defense leaps or stalls. The division sits wide open, softer than it has looked in years, and the Saints smell blood in the water. Every thread points back to one question. Are the New Orleans Saints ready to seize the throne, or is this hope on repeat one more autumn? But before we get into that, hit that like and subscribe button for more Saints and all the NFL content. Let's aim for 400 likes on this video. Rewind to last autumn. The Saints opened the year buried, drowning in losses, written off before Halloween. Then Tyler Shuck took the reins around the 9th week and the entire mood flipped. He completed passes with a calm most rookie quarterbacks never show. He finished the season on a surge, guiding New Orleans to a strong close after a brutal start. He won the job over Spencer Rattler and never looked back. Head coach Kellen Moore, fresh off a Super Bowl win in Philadelphia, saw a franchise passer, and he was right. Here's why his rise matters so deeply. Shuck turns 27 during his second season, an age when quarterbacks tend to hit their stride, so New Orleans owns a young arm entering his prime with room to climb. Moore built his reputation shaping passers like Jalen Hurts, and now he pours the same teaching into Shuck. Every throwing session, every off-season workout, every rep with Chris Olave points one direction. The Saints believe they found a leader, and the belief runs from the locker room to the front office, to every corner of the fan base. The doubters still linger, and a sophomore slump haunts every young quarterback. Shuck knows the weight. He organized his own passing sessions this offseason, dragging teammates into extra work, proving ownership of the huddle. New Orleans handed him the deepest group of weapons the roster has carried in years, and the offense promises far more explosion in the season ahead. Protect him, feed him, and the ceiling climbs fast. The men catching his passes change the math entirely, and the group around him looks nothing like the one from a year ago. Start with the anchor. Chris Olave delivered a career year in 2025, hauling in 100 receptions for 1,163 yards and 9 touchdowns, while earning second-team All-Pro honors. He set career highs across the board and cemented himself as a top-tier receiver. An extension looms, one likely to push past $30 million a season. Olave flirted with retirement 2 winters ago after concussions wrecked his season, so this rebound carries enormous weight. He is the present and the future in black and gold, and now he owns a running mate. Then came the swing. New Orleans drafted Jordan Tyson 8th overall out of Arizona State, a rookie receiver with a number 1 ceiling and hands like glue. His brother Jalen Tyson stars in the NBA, and the athletic bloodline shows on every route. One knock follows him, and it is injuries, since a torn knee and a broken collarbone and hamstring trouble cost him chunks of college. When healthy, he is close to uncoverable. Pair him with Olave, and defensive coordinators lose sleep choosing which threat to double on a given snap. The depth goes deeper still. Devon Vele arrived from Denver in a trade and gives Shuck a big-bodied target over the middle. The tight end room turned modern overnight, with Juwan Johnson returning as a chemistry pick, veteran Noah Fant signing on, and rookie Oscar Delp joining out of Georgia. Expect heavy 2 tight end sets and constant confusion for opposing defenses. The passing attack no longer runs through one man, and the spread of talent opens a different kind of offense. The unit looks loaded, which makes the next twist stranger because one familiar face keeps circling back into the headlines. Here's the plot nobody scripted. Derek Carr walked away from football before last season, citing a torn shoulder labrum and damage to his rotator cuff. He is a full year removed from the game. And yet this summer, on national television, he admitted multiple teams reached out to gauge his interest in a comeback. He would return only for a special situation, meaning a genuine Super Bowl contender. The twist for New Orleans is simple, and it hands the Saints a strange kind of leverage. The Saints still own his contractual rights. Sit with the oddness of it. New Orleans holds the keys to a quarterback it has moved past entirely. If a contender loses a starter and comes calling, the Saints hold the leverage, since any team wanting Carr must trade with New Orleans first. The compensation would run light, likely a late round pick, but the principle stands tall. A player who has not taken a snap for the Saints in over a year still holds trade value on their books. Few franchises ever stumble into found money like this in the dog days of summer. Why does any of this matter for 2026? Because it underlines how far the Saints have traveled at the game's most important position. A year ago, Carr was the plan, the veteran anchor, the whole identity. Now he is a footnote, and Tyler Shuck is the answer. The emergence of the young passer turned a one-time franchise cornerstone into a trade chip nobody expected to hold worth. New Orleans built clean, past its own recent history. The roster runs deeper than the headlines suggest, and the proof lives in the trenches on both sides of the football. Time to open the vault on the hometown edition, teased at the start. New Orleans signed running back Travis Etienne to a 4-year, $52 million deal, and the Jennings, Louisiana native, came home to fix the one thing this offense never did. The ground game had gone stale for years, predictable and toothless. Etienne brings home run speed, receiving chops, and a burst defensive sphere, forcing them to honor the run for the first time in ages. His homecoming reads like a movie script, and it reshapes the math for Shuck on every down. The line got a facelift, too. Kelvin Banks anchors left tackle after a rookie season strong enough to earn all rookie recognition, logging a club high in snaps. Talise Fuaga slid back to his natural right tackle spot and settled in, still on his rookie deal. New Orleans signed guard David Edwards from Buffalo to steady the interior, and center Eric McCoy returns from a torn biceps tendon, hungry to reclaim his form. Depth remains thin, and a single injury at tackle would sting, but the projected starting 5 finally looks settled and set. The draft haul reinforces the whole plan. Beyond Jordan Tyson at the top, New Orleans landed rookie guard Jeremiah Wright, rookie receiver Bryce Lance, and rookie returner Berrien Brown, stacking cheap young talent on both lines and in space. General manager Mickey Loomis targeted the 2 biggest holes on the roster, the run game and the interior, and hit both cleanly. The offense finally owns balance. Protect Shuck, run behind Banks and Fuaga, and the whole unit lifts together. The build looks complete, which flips attention to a division ripe for the taking. Look at the neighborhood. The NFC South ranked as the weakest division in football last season, with 3 teams stumbling to 8-9 records. The Carolina Panthers backed into the crown with a losing mark, riding Bryce Young, and a defense with some bite. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers collapsed down the stretch and surrendered a 4-year grip on the division. Nobody in this group looks scary right now. New Orleans stares at an opening wider than any it has seen in half a decade, and the timing lines up perfectly. Break down the rivals one by one. Atlanta hired a new head coach and now hosts a shaky quarterback battle between an injured Michael Penix and the newly signed Tua Tagovailoa, neither one a settled answer. Carolina leans on Bryce Young, a former top pick still proving he holds a ceiling, backed by a young star receiver. Tampa Bay rolls with Baker Mayfield, but waved goodbye to a franchise legend at wideout. Every rival carries a glaring flaw somewhere on the roster, and New Orleans matches up well against all three of them. Here's where the Saints press their edge. A rebuilt offense with a rising quarterback, a genuine run game, and a deep receiving core outguns most of this division on paper. The defense holds more speed and disruption than anyone else in the South. If the young pieces click on schedule, New Orleans owns the talent to climb from the basement to the summit in one single leap. The margin is razor thin across the division, so the nastiest front seven likely settles it. And one draft weekend move armed the Saints for this exact fight. Here's the payoff. The draft weekend move teased earlier brought edge rusher Tyree Wilson to New Orleans in a trade with Las Vegas. A former 7th overall pick handed a fresh start under a new staff. He joins a room already stacked with talent. Chase Young, the former 2nd overall pick, finally became the wrecker everyone envisioned, posting his first double-digit sack season and an elite pass rush grade despite missing the early weeks with a calf issue. The Saints locked into a genuine edge one, and the timing feels perfect. The veterans anchor the group. Cam Jordan returned for one final ride, his 16th season, the most any player has ever worn this uniform, and he still posted double-digit sacks a year ago. Carl Granderson keeps stacking productive years opposite him. Add Tyree Wilson and the veteran signing Anthony Jennings, a stout run stopper out of New England, and the rotation runs 4 deep with real juice. Stop the run early on first down, and this crew pins its ears back to hunt quarterbacks on every 3rd down. The interior tells the same story. Brian Breezy grew into a more complete defensive tackle and forms the cornerstone New Orleans builds around up front. The Saints drafted rookie Kristen Miller in the 2nd round out of Georgia, a 320-pound wrecking ball paired beside Breezy to collapse pockets from the middle. Veterans like David Godchaux and Nathan Shepard hold the run with authority. This front got younger, deeper, and meaner in one offseason. Turn all of it loose, and the final piece of the puzzle hides in the secondary. Here sits the position battle teased from the opening whistle. Brandon Staley needs a star, his hybrid slot defender who covers, blitzes, and stuffs the run. And the job fell open when Alontae Taylor signed with Tennessee. Second-year safety, Jonas Sankor, grabbed the first crack, and coaches rave about his speed, instincts, and blitz ability. He earned all rookie honors a year ago with 80 tackles and a pair of interceptions across a full season. If he masters this demanding role, the whole defense levels up overnight. The rest of the back end brims with youth. Kool-Aid McKinstry ascends as a lockdown corner and now leads the room with his voice. Quincy Riley flashed as a rookie on the boundary, and veteran Martin Emerson arrived from Cleveland to push the group. Justin Reed steadies the deep third, with Julian Blackmon back beside him after an injury wiped his season away. Speed everywhere, ball skills everywhere, and a coordinator who loves to disguise coverage. This secondary holds the ceiling of the entire operation in its hands. So here is the bold call. This roster wins 9 games, ends a 5-year playoff drought, and snatches the NFC South from a division nobody else wants to claim. Tyler Shuck finishes as a top 10 quarterback, and I plant my flag right there in the ground. Disagree loudly if you want. Drop your win total prediction in the comments and subscribe before the next Saints breakdown drops, because the schedule opens against Detroit, and the opener sets the whole tone. New Orleans is done rebuilding. The climb starts now.